Let's begin with the top stories this morning. And we begin in Mombasa, where our reporter Francis Mtalaki is on standby from officers in Mombasa for an update on the drug arrest that had been made in Mombasa. Police on Friday arresting 12 suspected drug barons. The head of anti-narcotic police unit in Mombasa saying that among those arrested were 4 foreigners and a haul of drugs were seized by a joint raid by detectives. Let's now speak to Francis Mtalaki for an update of how far the arrest has gone. Mtalaki, many thanks for joining us on KTN News Center. What else can you tell us about the arrest that was made on Friday?
Well, good morning, Michelle, and it seems to be a big breakthrough to the security agencies here in Mombasa, and specifically to what happened yesterday, where 12 suspects were arrested. Among them were 8 Kenyans and 3 Italians and one Mauritius national for that matter. But more importantly was the arrest of a gentleman known as Bosire Nyaikoti Makori, one that you would remember even the Coast Regional Coordinator Nelson Marwa had issued an ultimatum to the police in Kwale that they should look for him and arrest him. He is said to transport drugs from Tanzania and one of the operatives in Kwale County, and more specifically to Ukunda area, where it is said that most of the youths are using drugs in that area. He is the main supplier in that region. But also there were some of the Kenyans who were arrested, along with his brother, who is Moniki Makori, was also arrested. But remember, Bosire, more importantly, that this is not the first time that he's been arrested. He was arrested earlier, and he also he left the police cells for that matter, and the police were searching for him. And now the police are saying that this could be a breakthrough in terms of fighting the narcotics in this region. And some of the suspects who were arrested are said to be operating in the areas of Shanzu, Lunga area, as well as Bamburi and Kisauni. And these are areas when you go when you visit these places, you'll find that the youth are seriously affected on the streets there. You can be able to spot one or two. And so the police are saying that the fight against narcotics in this region has to continue. And remember that they have been doing this since late January. Michelle.
Right, Mtalaki, and this fight on the war on drugs in the coastal region has been ongoing for quite a while. Just a few weeks ago, we had several other drug suspects that had been arrested, but we saw these drug lords being defended by leaders from the region in Mombasa. How far has that case gone?
Of course, Michelle, I can't be able to remember that the police boss here, the regional police boss, that is Philip Tuimor, when he was addressing the media yesterday, he called on the politicians not to politicize this war against drugs, and he's saying that the police need their support in terms of making sure that they are supported in terms of whatever is needed for them to be able to operate. But also, more importantly, with the capture of these 12 suspects, Michelle, they are attributing this to members of the public who are living here down at the coast from Kwale specifically, where we understand almost more than a half of the suspects who are arrested were operating from Kwale County and here in Mombasa, and as well as to Kilifi County for that matter. But the police maintain that the war against drugs should not be politicized. And moving forward, they're now saying that their next point will be fish landing sites and also the private airstrips that are here at the coast. The police seem to believe that the fish landing sites are one of the areas that the drug barons are using to transport drugs from the ocean and coming to the city here. Michelle.
All right, and finally, Mtalaki, before I let you go, we've also had reports and allegations of threats against activists campaigning against drug abuse in the region. Has there been any word with regard to the security of these activists?
Well, with regard to the threats that have been issued to some of the activists here. Remember that there are so many human rights activists here. Remember the issues like the activists like Haki Africa have been on the forefront. But for them, they're saying that at some point, maybe the rights of the suspects are not adhered to. So that is what they have been calling for, the rights of the suspects to be adhered to. And also at some point when you move to, when the suspects are arraigned in court, maybe the level of justice that they are given does not match to what is in the Constitution. And also to some extent now, the police are now blaming the judiciary in one way or the other in terms of speeding up these cases so that the case can be concluded as early as it can be. And the police are saying that to one way or the other, the judiciary needs to handle the cases that are dealing with narcotics and drugs in this region in a matter of a seriousness and also in urgency for that matter. But you would find there's so many cases in the courts here, both in Mombasa and in Shanzu at Kilifi County, that are related to drug barons for that matter. And to some extent, some of these suspects who are being arrested are released on bond, and then they come back again as suspects for the second time or the third time. Michelle.
All right, many thanks, Francis Mtalaki. They're live for us from our offices in Mombasa. We will be going back